So we're going to go ahead and get started. Like I said, I can tell from the comments that some of you are returning, but there may be some of you that this is your first webinar with me, and I welcome you. And I want to thank all of our partners in this webinar series. When the COVID outbreak started, I realized that there was something we could do, which was to put these webinars that we had been doing with our chamber here in Cabarrus County out to a larger audience. So some friends of mine reached out to area chambers and other organizations to help promote this. And I was overwhelmed at the response, so happy to be connecting with a whole new group of people with these free best practices webinars that we put on. So I thank the chambers and especially Anissa Starnes who recommended us and helped us connect. In case you don't know me, my name is Lisa Perry, and that guy behind me is Brian. I have shared a different photo in each of the webinars of the two of us, but literally in every single picture, if you've been here before, it's always him behind me doing something silly. Although in this one, I'm kind of silly as well. We were at a very fun St. Patrick's Day party, and there aren't too many photo booths that Brian and I don't take advantage of. So, but we do own our own digital marketing agency. As I mentioned, we are a team of 5. We have 3 great employees. We've been in business for over 25 years and married for 26 years. So we spend a lot of time together, but we love that and we love the work that we do. Lisa Perry Social is a brand that we started just over the last year that's all online learning. As I mentioned, I've been doing free webinars for years, but we now realize that, you know, there are people that just are never going to be able to afford to hire a marketing agency, but they still need to know how to do the parts of digital marketing. And so we have put together online courses, free webinars, downloads, blog articles, and that's all housed on lisaperrysocial.com. So very proud of what we do for a living and the team that we do it with. So this is the webinar series. We're halfway through with this webinar today. Every single Wednesday through April 29th, we have a different topic. So I hope that you are registered or will register for the content marketing webinar next week. This is going to be like brainstorming gone crazy. So if you don't know what to write about, don't know what to make a video about, don't know what to talk about, I'm going to talk about all of that next week. So I highly recommend that you sign up for that. Just remember, if you can't join live, we always send the recorded version. So we're going to start out with a poll because I always like to know who in my audience, what your kind of level of how much video knowledge that you have, basically. So Brian is going to launch the poll. Did you, Brian? Launch the poll. So I want to know if you don't use video at all, if you've tried to use video but had mixed results, or if you use video all the time because it just plain works. So I'm going to give you just a second to go ahead and fill out that poll, and then we'll share our results. We use video a lot. Love video. Certainly see tons of engagement when we do video over a post. Okay, Brian, I think everybody's voted. Go ahead and close the poll, and then I'm going to share it. Right? Okay, so you can see that most people, that's great, have tried video but with mixed results. So you're here today to figure out, okay, maybe I know a little bit about what's going on, but I need to figure out a straighter path or a better plan. And then there's, you know, 34% of you that aren't using it at all. So hopefully we can motivate you to be using it and just step out of your comfort zone if that's the issue. But I really want to cover a lot. Video is, you know, I think the hardest thing about video is that there are different levels across the board. So there's people who are completely terrified to get in front of a camera. There are folks who just can't do the editing side of it. What I've tried to pull together today is some things that I know that anybody can do. Even if you're very intimidated by video, these are some strategies that you absolutely can do. So we have a very full agenda. So if you have questions, please type them in the comments when you have them. Brian will either answer them for you or he makes a list for me. And we've been answering those questions over in our Facebook group and in our post emails, post webinar emails. So, because there's so much content, I want to make sure I get through everything, but I also want to thoroughly answer your questions. So type them in the chat. I won't answer them live, but I will answer them in the Facebook group and or email. We've even turned some of the questions into blog articles because they've been so good. So, but this is the agenda. So we're going to dive right into it. And get started. So first of all, I want to just say why use video. So those of you that are on the fence, whether it's because you just aren't confident or if you just don't think it's worth it, these stats are some things that I pulled together about why video. 85% of all internet users have watched an online video. So it's a lot of people, right? 55 or 54% of consumers want to see more video content from a brand that they like. So they, they demand it, they want it, they expect it from you and from you as a brand. 88% of video marketers are satisfied with the ROI, which is the return on investment, meaning they're making money off of their video marketing. That's a really high percentage. It can be very difficult to sometimes establish or determine ROI from social media. So the fact that 88% of video marketers are saying, yeah, I see value in that is extremely high. And then I think this one is very powerful, that the average user spends 88% more time on a website with a video. So hopefully some of the videos that you're going to create, you're also going to put on your website because more and more people will watch videos before making a purchase. So today I want to give you ideas though about how to figure out what type of video you should make and what software you should use to make that video and lots of things like that. So but the first thing I want to do is give you the confidence to do it and say you can do videos. So don't be intimidated by the technology. You need to dive in and try it. I'm going to give you a lot of different platforms today to try. Stick with it. I struggle with some of the technology with editing video. I happen to be married to somebody who does that very well, but I did a video that I'm going to share with you that I did completely myself to show you that you can do it. If don't worry about how you look on camera, don't believe me. I wish I was 40 pounds lighter. And I'm like, well, I'll wait and do that video when I get my hair colored. No, get the best you can in front of that camera and focus on what you have to say. That is what people will remember. Also, just embrace the flaws. It does not have to be perfect. I think a lot of people don't want to put a video out there because it's not edited perfectly. Maybe you stumbled a little bit over the words. It does not have to be perfect. In fact, there are statistics that show the more raw, the better. The selfie videos, those types of things, if they look overproduced, people think they're being sold to. So I'm definitely not suggesting you put out garbage, but know that some ums and ahs and a little bit of imperfection is okay. And then lastly, the thing I really want you to take away from today is to focus on video performance. So getting people to watch your entire video. You will be rewarded, especially on platforms like YouTube, if people watch your video all the way through. So we want to think about how can we do that. So I'm going to show you some tricks about how you can do that. With my team at Perry Productions, I like to talk about good, better, and best. So if your budget is really small, you can do this and this is good. If you have a little bit bigger budget and/or time, this would be better. And then if you have an unlimited budget, then this is best. And so in the frame of video, I would say that you can do really good videos shot on your smartphone and just share them completely raw, whether that's Facebook Live, very minimal editing from your smartphone. You can do really, really good videos with just that. Better, and I'm going to share with you equipment and software. If you can invest in some technology for editing so that you can kind of edit some things together, add in some B-roll, some other things like that. And if the best would be to hire a respected videographer, and that might be for that premiere video on your website. That might be where you hire a videographer because you really want that to be professional. But some of your social media engagement videos you can do on a budget directly from your smartphone. So just how to think about what type of video are you doing, and how you want to use it and where are you going to use it. Speaking of videographer, I wanted to share this link with you so you can get it after the webinar. This is my friends over at Market Street Studios. They actually do amazing work, but they also shared this really funny video during social distancing about how lighting and sound and everything when you're doing your Zoom calls from home. So I included this link to this because he's got some great suggestions, but does it in a really funny way. So Garrett Price with Market Street Studios, definitely check out that video for some recommended video from home advice. So let's talk about goals. I think this is a good slide for you to print out and take notes because you want to make sure before you dive into video that you're setting some clear goals. So ask yourself, why are you creating this video? Because you're going to create different videos for different reasons, and you're going to create different videos for different audiences. So you want to make sure that you kind of set up on a sheet of paper, why exactly are you creating this video? For instance, I did a video to drive people to this webinar, so I'm not selling anything. I'm just trying to get people to register for this. So that video looks different than an online course that I'm trying to get you to buy. And so the content of those two videos look very different. Who is your audience? You want to get engagement, and like I said, if you're selling most videos that you do, you're not trying to just get them to buy a product. You want to think about your audience. Who is this video for? And make sure that the tone of the video and the content of the video is appropriate for that audience. Ask yourself, why would someone watch this video? There is so much content out there. Why are they going to stop and watch this video? You need to answer that for yourself before you even start drafting the script. A lot of people make videos and forget that there is a call to action. So what is it that you're wanting people to do after seeing the video? Again, a video takes a very different path depending on what you want them to do. If the call to action at the end is to join your email list, make sure they know why being on your email list is a benefit to them. If you want them to subscribe to your YouTube channel, what type of content are they going to find there? If you want them to visit your website, what specifically are you wanting them to go to, and what are they going to find there? Or sometimes you just want them to watch another video. Maybe it's a video in a series, and I'm going to show you a strategy for that as well. So make sure that you have a clear call to action at the end of your video. And how can you make this video clear and easy to understand? Sometimes we talk too jargony for the average audience. So you want to make sure that this is clear and easy to understand. Maybe run your script by somebody else so that it really will reach the audience and answer the questions that they might have. Okay, so those are just some basics. I also wanted to cover the types of videos. So, if you're really intimidated by video, you might be like, well, I don't know what kind of video to do. Well, here's a list of about a dozen different types of videos that you can do. Educational, entertaining, practical, or how-to videos. Behind the scenes are great videos. Tips and tricks. Interview, where you're interviewing somebody. Recorded webinar, just like this one. We record every one that we do. Explain a product, customer testimonials. So there are so many different types of videos, but I think it's really good to use something like this as a checklist so that you have a clear purpose for your video, and it's not an educational video that then steers down and includes some behind the scenes. Make sure you know what type of video you're doing, why you're doing it, who the audience is, and what your call to action is after. But I thought this might help you, this list, for you to figure out where does your particular business fall and which of these types of videos would most benefit you. And next, I want to kind of share the video process. So, when you're shooting a video, I think this is a bit of a checklist that you want to go through, is to first and foremost set goals for the video, which at the beginning, in a couple slides ago, I said, well, maybe the goal is to grow the email list. Maybe the goal is to get more website visits. So establish that first. From there, you want to go ahead and write your script and or talking points. Some people want to have exactly what they're going to say written out. Others just need a bit of an outline and they like to kind of go off the cuff. That's more me. I don't like to read from a script. And even if you are reading from a script, you certainly don't want to look like you are. But especially if you're if you're restricted by time and you want to keep it short, you really want to draft what it is you want to say. Then you want to think about your setup. I mean, things like lighting and background, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later in the webinar. How are you going to record the video? Are you going to use a smartphone? Are you going to use a video? Are you going to use your laptop? What are the benefits of all of those? And then are you going to edit it? And what program are you going to use to do that? And then last but not least, don't forget where you're going to upload your videos. Are you going to upload them to like YouTube or Vimeo, or are you going to just upload them to social media platforms? So that's kind of the process from start to finish of setting goals to uploading and sharing those videos. And I should have included one more bullet here, which is in your email. Putting your videos in your email marketing is another great place for you to share. So we've kind of gone through a couple things of how to start thinking about video. I think that this slide helps you as you identify what type of video, what audience. Now you have a formula for what should that video look like. And this is a pretty good formula for an instructional or for a how-to video. And if you take this and break these parts up, this is how your video should look. And I find that this helps people think through their content within a video. Now, you could use this formula whether this video is 30 seconds or 10 minutes. But either way, you want to start with a hook or a tease. And so what do I mean by that? You want to start with something that's going to catch somebody's attention, because the statistics show that people are not going to stop on your video. The average watch time is 3 seconds because they're just flipping by. So you need to have something in the very beginning that's going to stop them and get their attention. Now, I'm not saying to be silly or to do something that doesn't make sense, but you want to really capture their attention at the very beginning. And I'm going to show you some examples of that. A quick intro right after that. The topic and yourself. What I'm not recommending is long intros. So Brian and I laugh because, there used to be these great intros to sitcoms and all the shows we watch, and they don't do that anymore. Have you noticed that? In fact, Netflix has the skip intro. Nobody wants to see that. We want to get right to the next episode, right? We want to get right to the content. So the days of long intros about your company and what you do, and nobody wants to see that. So the best videos have that little hook at the very beginning that tell you exactly what that video is going to be about. And then it might bounce into, quick intro. I'm Lisa Perry. I'm going to share some awesome tips on video with you today. Let's get right to it. So at least I let people know. Maybe I even say I do digital marketing and I offer online courses. But today we're going to talk about blah, blah, blah. So it's not a great big long sales pitch at the very beginning, or guess what? Everybody's gone. So you need to think about, I need to give them what they're looking for. They go to YouTube and they go to Google looking for a solution to a problem. So you need to make sure in the very, very beginning that they know what problem you're solving for them when you're talking about an instructional video. And so I also like to, at the very beginning, talk about what they're going to learn and why it's helpful. So right at the very beginning, before you start teaching them how to do it, tell them what they're going to learn and why they need to know that, because that's more affirmation for the fact that they should stick around and hear the content. And remember, I said at the beginning that you're rewarded when people stay through the whole video. So another thing you can do early on in your video is make sure you stick around to the end, because I'm also going to give you some bonus content. That's the tease, right? So you can do that very on, either in the first 3 to 5 seconds or early on in the content, but let them know that something else is coming at the end. You know, you don't want to make them feel like they have to suffer through 8 minutes of content to get to the one thing that they like, because they can drag that slide bar over and just get to that. But let them know there's something else coming. And then you want to deliver your great content, get to the end of your video, and then make sure you have that call to action. Now, one other thing to keep in mind is you don't want to make it sound like the end of the video when you get to the call to action, or everyone will leave. So for instance, if you're doing a top 10 list and you say, and the last one, number 10 is blah, 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 they're going to hear number 10 and then they're going to be gone, and they're going to totally miss your call to action. So you somehow want to make sure when you're getting to the end of your video, you kind of go into your call to action fairly seamlessly, and it doesn't feel like a segment that has ended. Oh, and now here's the call to action and our sale, and I'm gone. So just a little bit of a formula that you can follow. Again, sit down with a notepad and just sketch this out. What does this look like for you? And but I think it's a really good way for especially beginners to sit down and get started. So let's look at some examples. This is a major YouTuber. You know, I try to share examples of more small businesses and nonprofits, and but every once in a while I like to show like a big timer who clearly is making his living doing this, because I want you to really see the difference of what good, better, and best is. This is certainly an example of best. And so, but what I wanted you to see for him is that at the very beginning of this video about useful apps, he says, I'm going to share with you a list of apps that all YouTubers should be using. So it matches his thumbnail that he's created and his title perfectly. So I've not been misled. I came to this video looking for the helpful apps. I know this is exactly what I'm looking for. But he also kind of trickles a little bit of doubt in my mind when he says, like, these are the apps that all YouTubers should be using. So I'm a YouTuber. I better make sure that I watch this video, because these are things I definitely need to be using, right? So that at the very beginning, he's kind of hooking us in and teasing us and making sure that we know exactly what we're going to get. And we, like I said, you can see that he has created a very custom thumbnail for his videos. And I know that some small businesses are not going to be able to create these, but you can see the impact that they have. And they're kind of like what we talk about in email marketing subject lines, that just getting the video opened sometimes can be hard. So if you can go the extra mile and create that great thumbnail, that can certainly help you. And then I also, with his stuff, wanted to show you the call to actions that he has. The website one here, the Nick Nimmin, just pops up right after the 5-second hook. So it's really brief, but he immediately gets his website up there. And then he also wants you to subscribe to his channel. So he actually has a little screen capture of how you click on the bell, because a lot of people don't know how to subscribe to a YouTube channel. So he actually physically shows you, and that's all within the first 12 seconds of the video. So he has put his call to action towards the beginning, but you can also put it at the end. You just want to make sure you get people to watch all the way through. But that's just an example of one of those best. I put this little in the formula for what is a tease. If you're trying to figure out how to do that for yourself, you can say, in just a minute, I'm going to show you blank, but first I need to show you this. So it's kind of a flow of information, like, I need to get you here because that's what you really came for, but first I need to show you these things. And so that's a little bit of a tease. An example of that might be if there's an editing, a video on editing equipment, and you came here, for editing equipment, but I want you to stick around the end because I'm also giving you a bonus of 3 editing tips. at the end that I want to make sure you have. So just a few examples of what a tease looks like. You can also do a more simple formula of a video if you're doing a promo video. And Brian has me trying something new. I'm actually going to share this video with you because he has figured out how to do this. And this is a little promo video that we've done for Watt Cabarrus. And I'm going to show this one to you. Here we go.
Walt Cabarrus, in partnership with Move Your Way, is a community-wide walking initiative focused on creating healthier lifestyles. As part of this initiative, Walt Cabarrus is challenging all of us to reach 1 billion steps together as a community. Yes, 1 billion with a B. All you have to do is register at waltcabarrus.com, where you can also join or create groups, log your steps towards our community total, and access Move Your Way resources. So head on over to waltcabarrus.com, get registered, and join the challenge today.
So I was great. I was able to share a video. I had just taught me how to do that this morning. So that's an example of a promo video that was 31 seconds long, but it had a lot of information in it, right? So the simple formula for that is we wanted to get across what is it? Why should I participate? How do I get involved? And the call to action. So when you get this link, you can watch that again. But those were the 4 things that when we were outlining the script for this that we wanted to get across. And we'd had to do a couple versions of this because we wanted to make sure that what we call an end slide at the very end had the website, that we definitely knew where people could go. But you saw we also had the website in the middle of the video. So because we really wanted to emphasize the way that you get involved in this particular program is by going to the website. But we included a little screen capture of someone actually registering as well. So this might be a little more high end. Somebody on our staff did this in Adobe After Effects, so it had some cool stuff in it. But if you're doing a promo video, you can still use this type of formula when you're creating it. And I think it's a very simple way to approach outlining a video. As we talk about content for video and you're thinking about what types of videos you want to create, I've come up with kind of 4 questions that you can ask. What are your customers' pain points? Notice that nowhere on here it says, what do you have to sell? What are your services? Think about your customer first. So what are your customers' pain points? Pick just one of them and address it and do a video about how you can help solve it. What obstacles do your customers face? What are the questions you hear most from your customers? Turn a question into a video. How have you helped customers solve their problems? Do a case study or a client spotlight. All of those things can turn into video content, but I think they're all great ways to showcase your products and services without selling. But think about how they solve somebody's problem, okay? So here are some examples of video content and some of the different styles of videos that I shared with you earlier. I love this one from Chris McCartan that we did. He's a local attorney, and I don't know if you've seen a lot of lawyer videos, but a lot of times I like to say they're sitting in front of a row of law books. And Chris had a different idea. He's a very colorful personality, and he wanted to do something a little bit different. And I love when we were shooting this, we were just talking off the cuff about a story, and we ended up making that the hook. Even though that's not specifically about the topic, it's kind of got people curious about why is this attorney in this crazy setting, and I think I want to listen to what he has to say. So let me show you the very beginning of this video. Actually, Brian, do we not have this one? Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't realize we didn't have that. So click on the link and you'll see that Chris is telling a story about a fish, like how when you catch a fish, you say it's really big, but actually it's only this big. But it shows early on Chris's personality, and this is kind of a funny video about the law, and it's tongue in cheek, and so it's very fitting with his particular topic. But you know, it doesn't always have to be super serious. If it can be entertaining as well as educational, that's a great combination for video. And I think that as an attorney in his space, this was a really good thing for Chris to do. And his videos like this did extremely well on social media. And so I think that, you know, anytime you can put your expertise with a little bit of fun and humor and personality, that works. That certainly works for me as well. Now there are times when I'm doing a serious video that I don't want to do that, but I think if you can layer that in, that can really help. Another type of video content that you can do is to demonstrate something, and this was a great fit for a local car dealer that we work with. The goal of this video was to get to know, like, and trust our sales associates. I joke with my friends at Hilbish Ford that I cannot stand going car shopping. I absolutely hate to be attacked by salespeople when I walk in a car lot. But Eddie is just the complete opposite of any you know, of those aggressive car salespeople. And what I love that we did with them is we just went for a ride. And because we want people to walk onto that car dealership and feel like they know Eddie and they know Hilbish. But he's also showing off a car. So he's you know, sharing all the details about it. I'm going to talk a little bit about B-roll, but I wanted to show you a little bit of this video.
My name's Eddie Martin with Hilbish Ford here in Kannapolis, North Carolina. Family owned, 64 years, long time. We're actually out here on the road driving this amazing 2018 subcompact SUV Ford EcoSport. You're gonna love it.
So this video goes on to show a little bit more, but you can see that, you know, Eddie seems very approachable. He's not listing off all of the information about the car. He's just taking you for a virtual drive. And in the screen capture, you can see that he eventually parks it. He's showing the cargo. He's actually showing how much weight it will hold, and he does it with humor, and you just feel very comfortable with Eddie. And so, you know, this is a very successful video that it helps us get to know Hilbish Ford. When I talk about B-roll, that's the footage of the car driving away. And you know, if you're gonna do some advanced editing, B-roll can be really helpful because you don't always want to just sit and look at the person who's talking. It's kind of nice to illustrate and just have additional video footage that you can implement. Now, again, that's a pretty advanced editing feature, but it certainly makes for more interesting videos if you're able to do that. And I'm going to again share later some different editing programs that you can do that. But when you hear what we call B-roll, that's what it is. It's additional footage that illustrates exactly what you're talking about. And you can see that in this video, we added text about the car over top of it. So you hear Eddie talking, you hear a little bit of music, and then you get information about the vehicle. And the other thing I really like, if you're going to do videos, like multiple videos like this, you can then set up a playlist on your YouTube channel. And this is great because if I, you know, discover Hilbish Ford, I can come see, oh, look, they have a series on owner tips, pre-owned vehicle tours. There's all these different playlists that I can then go watch several different videos on. So you can actually on YouTube group your videos into playlists, and that can be another technique that you can use to get people to keep watching one after the other. Different example of video content that I use is to promote a webinar. So we've seen an instructional kind of video, one that has personality, a demonstration. This one is to promote kind of a product or an event, which is a webinar. One of the things I love about what our team did with this one is the thumbnail. So I get kind of obsessed about the thumbnail that you choose because that's what gets people attention, right? And it's so funny. Most of my thumbnails have my mouth open because I'm talking or I'm laughing. This one has my what I call my big ass clock, which sits in my office and also helps me during webinars stay on time. But this picture is just really funny. Like, right? People are going to want to know, why am I holding this big clock? um, and it's because in the hook in the very beginning, I say, if you're like me, saving time is a big deal. And so right after that, I go into the fact that I'm doing this webinar and what the topic is. But I think the thumbnail ties into getting somebody's attention to what is this lady talking about. I'm even going to talk a little bit next about the background of a photo. This is our office, and I love this red chair, and I love the background because it looks like I'm inviting you into my home or into a space that's comforting. I have this aversion to videos in front of a beige wall that everybody knows me, so I like to take care of all the details. So that's another thing I love about this video is just the setup of it, the thumbnail, everything about it that's set up entirely so I can promote this webinar that I would like people to sign up for. And then lastly, the outro. So this is at the very end of the video that we have the information actually come up on the screen about the date and the time and how can they act, so they can click on the link above to register. So again, I've included links to all of these so you can go watch them later. But I'm sorry. Oh, Brian said it can. Are you sure? Okay, I'm going to show you this one. If you're like me, saving time is a big deal. And I have an upcoming webinar that is all about saving time. I want to teach people how to use automation and email marketing to grow their business, stay connected with folks, but in a way that doesn't take all of your time. I'm very beginning, I've addressed pain points. Why would somebody come to this? I don't lead with, hey, I'm having a webinar on June 12th and you should come. I'm telling people why and how this is going to help them. And so, like I said, using that formula that I shared earlier is how we set it up, and it takes somebody through a journey of exactly what you want them to do. Another one of my favorite videos is, this is just strictly, the goal is engagement. I'm not trying to sell anybody anything. I'm not trying to give them tips. This is literally just our blooper reel, because when I do videos, I mess up a lot. And I'm constantly trying to encourage people to give videos a try, and they'll say, well, Lisa, yours looks so polished. And I'm like, well, they don't start that way. And so I want to engage with people. I want people to be comfortable with me. I want them to know that I'm human. And behind the scenes videos are the best way to do that, because it shows people into the process. And so, but sometimes there is no goal there except just to make a connection with people. So I'm going to show you a snippet of this. Are you going? So, I'm trying to remember what we're talking about. Is it an ebook? Is that the? My name is Lisa Perry. I don't want to start with that. Thank you so much for joining our subscribing. Okay, that's the word. It didn't come out. I know. I'm like, blah, blah, blah. Oh crap. Oh, thank you so much for. I'm too like all the time. So you think, oh, that's you though.
People like that. That was.
And I really enjoy doing it. But guess what? That video has gotten more views than any of our other videos. So all those great tips and things I put out there, they love just seeing me mess up. But I think it's that people just feel more connected to you when you show them, your true self behind the scenes. And so, but again, I knew what the goal of this video was, and that has worked really well for us. So in the beginning, I told you that I was going to show you some videos that were kind of advanced. Some of those things you might think are over your head, but I'm going to walk you through the making of the video that I did to promote today's webinar. So I knew that with, it being a video webinar, I should do a video. But I will be honest, Brian does most of the editing on our videos. I do not, but I wanted to do this one completely myself in case you are a do-it-yourselfer, and I want to show you that you can do it. Now, the goal of this was to just put something simple out on social media to remind people that we have this webinar. I did a direct to camera, which is just talking directly to the camera. I literally did this video. I don't know how many of you saw it, but you can go on our Facebook page and see it. But I did this in 20 minutes. And like I said, I am not the super savviest person on my iPhone, but I could do this in 20 minutes. I used an app called InShot. Um, and I love that app. And I have also used iMovie, but because I know many people are not Apple users, I wanted to use InShot so that you can use on either platform. And then I uploaded this to YouTube and Facebook. And I included this behind the scenes shot so that you could see kind of the setup of where I am. I'm in my office at home, and you can see my printer and all that stuff, but you don't see any of that stuff in the framing of the video. So I took care to make it look like I'm at home. I have my fireplace in the background. So I set that all up ahead of time. And then I even wanted to show you what I was wearing, literally just business on top, comfort on the bottom. I knew that the only thing that was going to be in the picture was my neck up. So I was going to be comfortable otherwise. And then you can see I even propped some notes up right behind the iPhone so that I wouldn't forget the 3 points that I wanted to make. So, like I said, this does not have to be super professional in a studio. This can just be in your home. It can be in your office. Like I said, take some care in the setup of it, but you can absolutely do this. A selfie ring that you see in that picture, this is it. I've actually included the link. Actually, it looks like I might not have hot linked that. Sorry about that. But you can just search this on Amazon. It literally is $47. I absolutely love it. I use it for Facebook Lives all the time. And you can see that I had it really tall, but you can also shorten it and put it on your desktop, and it holds your phone. So you can either turn it sideways or straight up. And it has a little remote control. So this is such a great investment for $47. And then, like I said, after I did the video, I did do several takes so that I wouldn't have to do a lot of editing. Since it was so short, I was able to do that. Although you can see here on my camera reel how many times I messed up. I have a bunch of these 3-second ones that I didn't start out right. But I wanted to edit it just to edit out that end, where you're reaching for the camera. And it looks like, especially if you're doing one yourself, I wanted to just trim that little end out. And so I opened this in the app, and you can just go ahead to your camera roll and select a video. And then you can see all of these editing features down here in the bottom. There is so much that you can do in InShot. But if all you want to do is edit it and trim it, then that's what you can use this for. I like to add a little bit of text. So on the next one, you'll see that I went to the text tool. I wanted to have the date pop up and the time. And then I also wanted to just trim off that end. So in the second image, you can see there's a little bar, and you can just go in and trim a little bit. Now you can cut and split and move sections around. I do that in iMovie all the time, and it's really pretty easy. So, but there's so many different things you can do in this. If you want the pro version, that just gets rid of these ads that are at the top. And then also in the finished one that says InShot in the corner, that's what you have to pay for. The free version, it just puts that in the corner. But if you're just doing a little social media video, that's acceptable. So you don't have to pay for it. But it's a very inexpensive app, and it's very robust. And like I said, I was able to create a very quick video by myself, didn't have to get anybody's help to do it. I also wanted to make sure that another best practice that you're doing is to always include captions. So many of the videos that people watch are not with sound on. So we use a program called, or a website called rev.com. I literally thought this was a joke when I first heard about it because it was $1 a minute. And you figure this video is only 30 seconds, so it's less, it's $1. Of course it's $1.25 now, they just raised their price. But and the captions are flawless. I mean, even if it has a person's name, their name is capitalized, it's usually spelled correctly. These are extremely well done. You can do captions within Facebook, but you end up having to do a whole lot of grammar and editing, and I'm a bit of a grammar Nazi, so I really like my grammar to be right, and Rev is excellent about that. I very rarely have to do any editing. So definitely you can just upload the video or the YouTube link, and Rev will usually have a caption file back to you within 24 hours, or you can rush it for an extra $1 and get it within literally an hour. So one other tip that I have for you too is when you look at where I put the text on this video, I put it above my head, because if I had put it below, the caption ends up on top of the text. And so you want to keep that in mind when you're putting text on a video, is this caption going to be over top of it? So that's why I put that where I did. Some other just general marketing tips before I dive into software and equipment. Put thought into your background. I mentioned that a little bit ago. You can see I just am somebody who is very attracted by a pretty picture, and when I see a person just standing in front of a black wall just talking, I don't love that. And that's why I like to shoot in places like that office area where we're at. Brian Francis does the advocacy marketing minutes for our chamber, and I absolutely love his videos because he has taken an almost Where's Waldo approach. Every single video that he does is in a different location, and sometimes the location is very relevant to the topic. But that just makes me want to watch his videos more because I want to see where Brian is today. But he's also taken care to do that, and his videos are always well lit. He's using natural light. They're only about a minute long, but I think that shows that he has taken the time to think about the environment of which he's doing his video. So I recommend that you do that. Another marketing tip is consistency over quality. You're going to leave today and probably be super motivated. You've probably made a list of 20 different videos you're going to do. You're going to do 2 of them and then not do anything for another year. No, can't have that happen. You need to put together a consistent video marketing plan. That's not to say that you can't batch create videos, but you want to make sure that when you start some type of video marketing that you keep it up. I mentioned earlier in this webinar, don't let high quality and polish kill your results. Don't let it hurt your efforts. Again, I don't think that you should put out a bad sounding video, a video that looks bad, but don't worry about the editing being absolutely perfect. Like I said, you've got a lot of content in this webinar to help you put together really good videos, but don't let worrying about them being perfect overcome the consistency of putting things out. Build a following with great content like Brian does with that marketing minute. It comes out every week, and I look forward to what it is that he has to say. And even if you can't consistently put things out, try a series. I did that with we did a marketing minute and did a series of 4 videos. So instead of doing one big long 15-minute video, maybe break that up into 3 5-minute videos or 5 3-minute videos, and encourage people to kind of binge watch your content. When you first are releasing those, you can release them 1 week at a time, but then once they're done, they become a series. So think about what you can say going back to that content generating phase, that maybe you can break up into several different videos that can keep people engaged with you. Also, this just kind of shows you the marketing minute that I mentioned. When you're on YouTube, it will show you the list of all the other videos, and you can actually just watch one after the other. So when you do a series and you create a playlist, YouTube is going to make it easy for you to just kind of watch one after the other when you do that. Okay. And then I also wanted to recommend that you go live. I know that that's scary. I think getting people to the point where they're not doing videos to doing a video to doing it live, that's a long stretch and a big ask, right? But I will tell you that going live is an easy way to make a video, and you can actually download the video from Facebook. You may not realize that, but in the lower right-hand corner, if you click on those three dots, you can actually download a video. This is one that I did for Walk Cabarrus on my personal profile to show off some of the swag that we had, and I wanted to be able to share this in the Facebook group and in the newsletter. So you can do a Facebook Live, download it, even put it on your YouTube channel, and you've got another piece of content. But it's very easy because it's already, you can't really edit it. You've done it live. People expect some flaws when it's live. You can engage with comments, but then you can download it and repurpose it. So don't be afraid to do that. Definitely take advantage of that. And then lastly, I just wanted to give you one more tip about where to put your videos. YouTube, remember, is the second largest search engine behind Google, and Google owns YouTube. So if you're doing any type of instructional video where getting found is important, you probably want to consider YouTube. Vimeo is another great option for hosting your videos. Doesn't quite have the search engine power of YouTube, but is a great place to host videos. Our church uses it. You also want to directly upload your videos to social media platforms like Facebook and Instagram. I often get asked, well, should I just share the YouTube video or should I upload it directly? When you upload directly to Facebook, it auto plays. If you share a YouTube link, it doesn't. So, that's one good reason to do it. Also, Facebook is just going to push out its own native content more than something that came from another platform. LinkedIn is another place, and like I said, email marketing as well, that you can insert a YouTube link into to get your videos out there. But think through, it's not enough to just make a video. You really want to make sure you know what you're going to do with it when you're done. Okay, and then the last portion, I know I've shared a lot of information with you. People always want to know what equipment we use. So I mentioned earlier that the good is just your smartphone. You can certainly start there, but if you really want to take that step up and you want to invest in a quality video camera, but that's still affordable, this is the one that we've had for about 3 years. We have made countless videos with this. This has been a great investment for us. There are other types of cameras like this. It's both a camera and a video. We did upgrade the microphone, but this is the base camera that we use for all of our videos. We've added an extra battery, an extra SD card for longer video shoots. As I mentioned, we upgraded the microphone and we bought a tripod. But that is pretty much the basic amount of equipment that we have that we do all of our videos on. So that was an investment of about $1,000. A couple other pieces of equipment that you can use. I heard about this Switchpod when I was at Social Media Marketing World. It was such a cool thing. You've probably seen the ones that they call the gorilla and they like grip onto things, but this one is really nice because you can see how you can hold on to it, but then when you let go, it goes right to a tripod. And so it's great for vlogs, like video style blogs, or ones where you're walking and talking, but then you want to set it down and do something with your hands. So we bought this, and this is a really nice one. Like I said, you can even just use it as a tripod if you don't have the circle to do your videos as well. And it just screws in on the bottom of your camera. So a really nice, for $100, a great tool. This is the high-end lighting that we use at Perry Productions. We literally bought this off Walmart's website, and we thought it would just be kind of a beginner thing for us, but it gives us everything that we need. We mainly just use these two tall ones to just give us a little bit of extra light. We try to use natural light as much as we can, but this is quite a robust set. It comes with a carrying bag, but it just goes to show that you don't need to spend thousands of dollars on lighting, but sometimes you do need just a little extra, like either that selfie ring that I shared, or sometimes with a bigger photo shoot, you might need a little bit extra. This is an example of the setup that we did for the YMCA when we had members come in because we wanted to take some photos of real people in our marketing, so you can see how we set that up. And then these are the photos that came out of it, and they just came out great, and we were so pleased with that. As far as software, I wanted to share a few different programs with you that we use. Video is kind of that, I want to call it infographic-ish one, but this can be really good for somebody who doesn't want to get in front of the camera but still wants to tell people about their products or services. It is a little bit more on the expensive side, but if this is something that you think you can use to tell your story, it comes with a lot of preloaded graphics and templates, so you don't have to design a lot of things, but they are all customizable. These are examples of two videos that we made using Widio. One was for Check Your RX, which was a drop-off week that we promoted, and then another one we did for the Y. And these are both great videos, and we did the entire thing inside of Widio. Camtasia is another video software program that I use a lot. This is for if you want to record your screen. So if you're doing a tutorial style video where you're taking somebody step by step through some instructions, this is really easy to do on your desktop. Again, price point, it's about $249, but we use this for our online courses so that I can screen capture, just, talk while I'm showing you how to do something online, and then I can edit that video afterwards. Brian actually comes in and he'll sometimes zoom in on things, for focus. So it's a really easy way to record your desktop. I also used it recently just to do a quick screen capture video of how to add steps for our walking campaign, because I was getting some questions from people who didn't know how to do it. So instead of just sending an email, I just quickly went to my desktop, turned on Camtasia, and I was able to talk and capture exactly what I was doing. I put that video on YouTube, and they have a quick tutorial video. So used Camtasia to do all of that. Wave is another really cool option for creating social media graphics. I haven't used this a lot, but it's on the lower price point. So you can, for around $8 or $10 a month, you can, utilize a lot of their templates that they have. And especially if you're not a designer and you just want to be able to take a template and put your own content in, this can make quick and easy graphic videos for you. So Wave is another, I know a lot of people that in the industry that use Wave on a regular basis. And then lastly, I just wanted to talk about if you are going to go to that higher level of editing, for the Macs, iMovie comes free on Macs. We use that a lot for our videos. And like I said, I also like to use it on my iPhone. The advanced version of that, that's much more expensive, is Final Cut Pro. So the videos like I shared with you for Hillbish, where we're putting in a lot of BRoll and overlaying text and music and things like that, we've done that with Final Cut Pro. So kind of the basic one is iMovie, more advanced is Final Cut Pro. If you're on a PC, we like the Adobe products, and we've used these as well. Premiere Elements is the more basic version, and then Adobe Premiere Pro has a lot more bells and whistles and things like that. But again, those are much more advanced. I think I've given you across the board. If you want to start just with your iPhone, you can do that. But if you feel ready and you've been doing videos and you want to try one of these bigger platforms, you can do that as well. As far as resources, YouTube Creator Academy, I have not done this myself, but I think they've put together a really good free series of videos to help you with content strategy, production, optimizing your channel, some other just good policy things. So I plan on doing this sometime soon, but because I just recently discovered it, but I think it's a really good resource for those of you that just want to learn more about YouTube and hosting your videos and what all you need to know. And lastly, I just wanted to, I mentioned at the beginning of the webinar for you to put your questions in the Facebook group. Like I said, I knew that I would go the full hour. There was so much to share. There's still so much more about video, but I hope I gave you a segment of content and strategy, excuse me, and equipment. But please share your questions here in the group. Excuse me. So sorry, the cough got me. Please go ahead and join us in our group. We've had a lot of people join since we started the webinar series. We've answered some questions from previous webinars in here. And I look forward to doing a lot more education through this group. So join us over there on Facebook. You can always email me. Be sure to register for our other upcoming webinars. Remember that we have recorded this. If there's anything that you need to replay and see again, you could do that, but you'll also be receiving the slide deck with all those links as well. So I just want to thank you all for joining me again this Wednesday, or if it was your first time, it was probably a little bit like drinking from a fire hose, but I promise, you can download the slide deck and break it down. And I hope that it will help you be encouraged to add video marketing or a bigger marketing presence to your digital marketing plan. So I'll see you next Wednesday on content marketing. Have a great rest of your week. Thank you so much for coming.